Firstly, I'd like to invite to the stage Rajiv Srivastava. Rajiv is the Chief Operating Officer for Asia Pacific and Japan for Hewlett-Packard, HP. Rajiv, would you like to join me? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Malcolm. It is such a pleasure and delight to be here at a forum, at a subject which is very close to HP. And you would relate to HP's vision, which really is about creating technologies that make life better for everyone, everywhere. And as an organization, HP operates out of 170 countries across the world right now. Some of these countries happen to be one of the most developed economies in the world, the one where we are right now. In our region, countries like Singapore, Australia, Japan, Western Europe, US, and some of the countries which are really underdeveloped, really emerging right now or creating the index of development. So the gap in the index is really, really huge. And in that, our vision and mission is to create technology that makes life better for everyone, everywhere. And look, I don't mean to say that everybody in the world across the entire spectrum of these most advanced and the least advanced, the most underdeveloped economies, they can buy our products or solutions or services. But look what we can do. Our products can enable the provisioning of a birth certificate. Our products can enable the provisioning of an education certificate, a provisioning of any document to anyone across the world in the most underprivileged of all nations. And that really is the impact that our technologies can create across the world, making a difference to the lives of every single person, everyone, everywhere across the globe right now. But also, really, to literally stay true to our vision right now of creating technology that makes life better for everyone, everywhere, we really need to understand how the world is evolving, how the world is changing, how the world is really coming to shape right now going forward, how the people around us are being shaped and changed through the advent or interception of technology and all the disruptions that are happening across the world. And it really is very difficult to predict the future. You can never predict the future, but you can do a little bit of understanding of what the future would be by understanding what the megatrends look like. And I'm going to talk to you about a few megatrends. And these megatrends are literally the socio-economic, demographic, technological changes that have a very profound, very deep impact on the way the economies, are transformative impact on the way the world is being shaped, the world is being transformed, on societies, on businesses, on economies, on all of us as individuals. And there are literally 4 megatrends to speak to talk about. And let me talk about these 4 megatrends. One is, and you've seen this in all countries across the globe right now, population moving from villages to smaller towns, to bigger towns, to cities, to larger cities. And there's a significant consolidation of people happening right now in the world. People are moving into cities, and cities are becoming bigger and bigger. And we call mega city as a city with a population of 10 million plus. So significant in scale, significant in all the infrastructure requirements of a city of that nature. There are about 23 cities, such cities in the world right now. There are 21 right now. There will be 41 in the next few years. So almost doubling as in terms of mega cities. A lot of them, more than 60% of them, would be in the region that we are in right now, in the Asia Pacific region. In countries like China, India, Korea, Japan, Shanghai, Beijing, New Delhi, Bombay, Tokyo, Seoul, all these cities will be mega cities. So that's one big impact. They are becoming economic powerhouses, centers of great economic development. That's one mega trend. The second mega trend is about demographics. Now this is where the world is grappling with 2 ends of the spectrum. There is the aging population in the world, which needs to be taken care of. And then there is also a huge amount of millennial population where there is a significant amount of aspirational people in the world. And these, as the aging population is there, it requires a very different demand on governments and economies. It requires a demand on creating healthcare infrastructure, which is absolutely the best in class. But also an aging population creates opportunities for people to work around across anywhere in the world. So I think that's the second mega trend that we're talking about. The third one is about is about hyperglobalization. The world is shrinking in a way, and they're coming together. Smaller companies or early starters or innovators or early startups, they are becoming challenges. They're creating challenges, or they're becoming challenges to large established companies in the world, and making it imperative for the large companies to be staying and doing things which will enable them to stay ahead of the curve all the time, to be disruptors, to be creating new innovations and technologies all the time. And the fourth one is about accelerated innovation. And we know this. Technology is changing our lives and world at such a terrific pace right now. Companies which used to be thriving earlier don't thrive or don't stay anymore. Absolutely new companies keep getting born and becoming extremely successful. We've seen many, many such companies in the recent times, in the recent past. Many companies which have really grown from nowhere to where they are right now as world leaders, Amazon and Google and so many companies of that nature, Twitter, Facebook, all those companies, whereas large companies have also gone the other way. So those are the few trends that are really, really strong and really meaningful right now, which are happening in the world. What it does is, all of these four trends, they lead us to a path of economic greatness. They put much more wealth and money in the hands of people, but all of these create an imperative for sustainability as well. As a city becomes a megacity, you will find that you will need to have provisioning for better infrastructure, and you create elements of sustainability for those cities. So each one of these four trends has a very strong link to economic growth and economic development, but also has a very strong requirement or demand of making sure that you create the right levels of sustainability, right levels of infrastructure in all those locations, all those cities that you do. So what we need to be thinking through is how do you really resource optimize for these trends? How do you make sure that you're optimizing resources? How do you make sure that you are creating less and less of waste as you go forward? And there are technological trends which will really, really help and shape us. And in some of the trends, HP right now is extremely closely involved. And I'm going to talk to you about such three examples of the many things that we are really dealing with and engaged with right now. And let me show you the first one. Now this is in a place called Haiti, which is in the Western Hemisphere, one of the most poor countries in the Western Hemisphere. Devastated by an earthquake in 2001. People didn't have adequate supply of eatables, but clearly not a supply of drinking water. And so they started to import water in bottles, in PET bottles. Now, this obviously, the more you consume PET bottles and you leave them, it is an ecological disaster in making. It just creates such a trash mountain that it needs to get solved for. And then HP stepped in, and HP stepped in by creating a demand for recycled colored water bottles and converting them. And let me show this to you. The recycled colored bottles get converted through a technological intervention into ink cartridges of this nature. And that is such a wonderful, beautiful way of converting a problem of huge proportions into something as useful as this, and has multiple benefits. And let me share with you some of the benefits that are there. So what you're doing is you're recovering resources and shifting to a low carbon economy. That's one very, very big benefit that this whole program does. What you also do is, by creating employment, by creating work for this nature, where you recover the PET bottles and convert them into ink cartridges as useful as this, you are providing employment to the people who are engaged in this activity, in this work. And then what it does is it prevents plastic. It prevents PET bottles from reaching the Caribbean Sea, which would otherwise become, again, one big problem of dealing with trash. So you've done multiple solutions through one simple act of trying to create usability through something which is as trash as that. And there are a lot of children who are engaged in this collection. Many children in Haiti who are extremely poor, who are engaged in this collection. But now what they do is, through the economic upliftment that is taking place, these children get an avenue to go and get educated, get learned, and then drive that curve from learning to an earning continuum, and just benefits the whole society and the upliftment as a whole. So I think it's been a very, very great, tremendously enriching initiative from an HP perspective. And it's a big problem that is getting solved. And imagine if you could take this initiative to more places across the world. more countries across the world. And you can really, because there's Haiti maybe one end of the spectrum, and from one end of the spectrum to the most developed, most advanced, most rich economies, you would find a continuum of countries which are existing in that. And could you not relate this to many, many other things? Could you not use PET bottle while you're trying to manufacture ink cartridge? Could you not use a PET bottle to manufacture something else? Walk into a new technological innovation or trend that the world is about to see, which is the new industrial revolution 4.0. We are used to industrial revolution in many forms and factors. We are at the cusp of an industrial revolution which is just bound around the corner of many different benefits to our world right now. And I'm going to show you a small video to just capture this trend of how transformational manufacturing is going to be playing out in the next couple of years. So can you roll the video, please?
To you, designers and engineers, captains of industry, and leaders of thought, anyone whose ambitions have ever exceeded what was possible, this is your moment. Your rewrite history, the world is not flat moment. Every facet of how you design and manufacture is about to be reinvented, and it all starts here. With the smallest of building blocks, the mighty HPvoxel. You and it are about to change the world by advancing radical prototyping, accelerating manufacturing, and taking precision and strength to unheard of heights. From today forward, the 3D printer is a factory for thought, where the things we make will make us smarter, better, more human. What a future we'll create with new materials and embedded intelligence. Together, we'll bring extraordinary to the everyday and reality to dreams light years away. Welcome to the age of digital production, on demand, a world without waste, without inventory, without warehouses. Meet the first HP Jet Fusion 3D printers, the digital furnaces of the next industrial revolution. Join us as we engineer the never-before Voxel by Voxel. HP Multi-Jet Fusion. Keep reinventing.
And look, this is a very significant shift that is going to take place because it's got many, many, many benefits. Socio-economic, ecological, environmental, everything. Because what you're doing is, now, instead of trying to manufacture everything at one place in a very, very huge big factory, this democratizes manufacturing. You can take a manufacturing machine of a 3D nature, shift it to the location where you need to be, close to the customers, close to the people who are consuming it, and just disrupt the complete supply chain. So all the elements that were going into supply chain and creating and manufacturing and waiting for people to come, you can manufacture to demand, on demand. So you don't have any wastages, and this manufacturing methodology is additive. It's not as if when in a normal manufacturing processes, a lot goes waste. In this manufacturing process, nothing gets wasted. So you're optimizing for waste, you're optimizing for supply chain, you're optimizing for transportation, for everything. So there's a huge amount of benefit in this, and that's the way we see the world actually moving towards. So this is about localized manufacturing, but also creating a hugely balanced environmental way of manufacturing things and without any wastage. Let me move on to something which is again extremely relevant for our part of the world, for a lot of the world. You know, there are millions of children across the world who do not get access to quality education, who do not get access to teachers, to content, to equipment, to books, to laptops, tablets, either as the innovation of technology or even through primitive books, just the way the world is used to for most of these places. And what HP is doing is, HP is working with organizations, governments, and schools across the globe right now to create this new way of education. Now you could create a virtual cloud and you can make sure that content is beamed to all the places where children exist, and so that we can take the content, we can pass on learning. You could take just a container which has got a ton of computers, take them to the remotest villages in Indonesia, in India, in deepest parts of Africa, and with those connect them through nice, good VSAT terminal, get content downloaded. You eliminate the requirement of quality teachers, you eliminate the requirement of content because content is getting beamed all the time, and you provide quality, timely, and high-class education to such places across the world. And there are many, many such solutions where you can really make a difference to the upliftment. And this is really, again, one more example of how you provide from a learning to an earning continuum, really, which is the main goal of making sure that people get economically uplifted to do things that they must really do. And look, there are many such examples that we can go on and talk about in our world. You could scale the Haiti project to many countries across the world. You could create a world without waste, and you could create a world without warehouses and do just-in-time and absolutely wasteless manufacturing. You could enable every child in the world to get access to quality education and become so much more tuned to getting the learning to earning continuum of livelihood. And be driven by the philosophy and by the guidance of our founders in this, of making sure that the betterment of our society really has to be done by every single individual in this room, every single corporation across the world, and every single government across the world. It cannot be left to a few. And we, in our own little ways, are trying to make a difference to that society. And we feel privileged and feel absolutely humbled to be able to make a difference to the lives of so many people across the world. Thank you for being a patient listener. Really appreciate it.